Hey guys, it's Chelsea, and today I wanted to talk about my publishing experience, self-publishing my first poetry collection, and my review of Barnes & Noble Press. So I went with Barnes & Noble Press because I had done research for my clients before, and they had published with like Amazon and other small presses, and Barnes & Noble, in order to have an event in their store, they have to be able to order it, and according to them, if you publish with Amazon or any press that offers your book strictly through print on demand, you'll have a hard time getting your book sold in the store as well as booking a signing, specifically because it's considered only print on demand in their system. So I went with Barnes & Noble Press because it says right on the site that if you publish with them, then you have a better chance of getting in the store, as well as that you then can have events within the store. So that's what I wanted, because Barnes & Noble is a huge book distributor, and also has a huge reputation, even though Amazon is known for its self-publishing and whatnot. So I went with Barnes & Noble Press, and the first thing that I did when I was putting my book together was I had my poems that I knew I wanted to put in a collection, and I didn't organize them, didn't have a table of contents. I kind of just put them in a manuscript, and then I was like, okay, now I need beta readers. So I did an advertisement asking for beta readers, and in turn they would get a free copy of my book when it was finalized and finished. And so I got 6 or 7 readers, and only 3 of them came back with feedback. Now, I know I wrote to all of them, and I was like, can you guys have this? Can you guys have the manuscript looked at and feedback to me by this date? And all of them said, oh yeah, we can. And then I never heard from the 4 of them. I only got feedback from 3 of them, which were the only 3 that got a complimentary copy. I don't really know what happened there, or that they just agreed to it and then decided not to do it, but I don't know why they can just say, yeah, I changed my mind, I don't want to be a beta reader, and I just would have said okay. So then after I got the beta read, then I figured out the organization of how I wanted it to go and how I wanted the manuscript or the book to look when it was a book. And I then reached out to 4 poets that I admire within the poetry community on Instagram. I will mention, the 2 that ended up endorsing my book were people that I just felt like were very open-minded and welcoming to anyone who was on the Instagram poetry community. And then also the other one was somebody I had already helped promote their book when it came out, or their multiple books, and I admire their work immensely. I think they are incredible writers, and I also really admire who they are as human beings as well. And so I asked 4 people, so the 2 got back to me, but then one of them I alternated and asked another large poet that is huge on social media. If I said who they are, you would instantly know who they are. And they wrote back to me instantly and said, oh yeah, send your poetry book over. I sent the book over, And then I found out through Barnes & Noble that if I didn't have the manuscript finalized by this date, then when it would go to press, it wasn't going to be the right book, even though looking back, it's like there was many other things that were going on with Barnes & Noble, but I wrote to them and said, oh, I need the manuscript back, or the feedback or endorsement quote by this date in order to have it ready for print. Didn't hear anything. Wrote them another message on, I think that was an email. Waited 2 or 3 weeks. Wrote them another message and said, oh, things have gone on with my publisher and there's more time, so if you still wanted to get that quote to me, nothing. They did not answer any of my messages, didn't even say that they looked at them, so it was like they completely ghosted me, which is ironic because the poetry book itself is specifically talks about a guy that actually did ghost me, so I thought that was funny. And I didn't take it personally because I literally don't know what goes on with people, and within the writing community, it's like that there's not many people like me who sit there and if I say I'm going to do this for you, I will do it. And I also put a time frame on it. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll get it back to you within a couple weeks, or I'll give you a specific date, or I'll if you end up releasing your book and I say, oh, I'm going to buy it, I will buy it within 30 days. Unless I literally cannot. And then I will say to you, oh, as soon as I clear this up, I will buy it. Because if I'm going to promise you that I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. And that's just who I am. But I don't know. Other writers are not like that. And I'm not saying anything against any particular person because this isn't... I don't snitch on people or make them look bad because I don't believe in that. I believe karma comes back around for whoever puts kind of ill will in the world. And also I don't really know everything that goes on in people's lives. So it's like, and social media is like, it seems like people try to connect through there, but then sometimes they don't realize that they're not fully connecting. And I'm somebody that had when I'm connected to you, even if I've only talked to you a couple times, I will think of you as a friend. So, sorry. Anyway. So the first book I got came to me like this. It was an 8.5 by 11 book, and it looks like a workbook, right? But then in the front of the book is actually someone else's book. And it's from a ministry, and it's their copyrighted material in here, and this is a proof copy, but I was like, this cannot go to print like this. So I called the number that was on my packing slip. Nobody answers. It goes to voicemail. I left a message. I never heard from nobody, and then I messaged them, and then it turns out that Barnes & Noble as a whole company was hacked as of October 8th. So they literally, everything that they were involved with, whether it be their books that they already had for sale, their whole customer data was looked through, and then my book was looked at by whoever hacked the site and possibly even could have stole the whole file. So that's why somebody else's book was in my first proof copy. So then I went on Amazon, and because I'm a writer that I admire, said, oh, go on Amazon and they'll help you set up your book more like a book. So, because I wanted it to look like a 6x9, so this was my proof copy from Amazon. And as you can see, it has the track marks on it, which is, I wanted the cover to look like this, but then I didn't want the track marks on it. But for some reason, Amazon doesn't know how to remove it themselves. So then I ordered after I looked through the Amazon copy, I found a bunch of editing stuff that I had to fix before it got finalized with Barnes & Noble. And then they finally worked everything out with Barnes & Noble, and I was able to order my like personal copies or author copies, or just copies that you order, just you only pay the print cost, you don't pay anything extra. And this was the finalized version, and this is the version that I want people to purchase. It is the one available through Barnes & Noble. It is the paperback, and this is how I want it to look. My book is called Sticks and Stones, Poetry and Prose by me, Chelsea DeVries. And then it has the Sticks and Stones on the back, and then also I wanted there to be like the binding to stand out. So I made the side purple, because that is my creative power color. So that's my experience with Barnes & Noble Press. I didn't like that I couldn't really talk to a real human, and then they also took a couple of days sometimes to answer my emails about different things. But as a whole, I just like the way they finalized my book and how it came out compared to Amazon. They made me set up my cover in a weird way, and it literally, on the actual paperback version that's available now, it's kind of like moved to one side, so it's not even with the book like this. It's kind of to one side. It's almost similar to how it looks on here, where it's just the front and then it's kind of to one side, and then the rest is like white. So it doesn't even like show the way I want it. But as far as publishing my book myself, I learned so much about putting a book together that I never really understood, because when I published my first 2 books when I was in high school, I did it through Vanity Press, who I won't name because I didn't enjoy my experience and I literally felt helpless. I also was quite young, so I didn't know how to advocate for assistance as well as like know how to market myself. I was completely in the dark there, and then they ended up where they didn't even pay me my royalties. They would try to make me pay a yearly fee, and then I just decided to cancel out those 2 books. So they are still available on Amazon, but last I saw one of them was available for $1,000, and I would not recommend that you pay that much for that book because it's not worth it. And I wrote it, but I don't believe it, and I will never see any of that money, so that would go to some scammer out there. But the other thing is, like, I love how I designed the cover. It was just a stock image that I got that I made sure was not copyrighted, and then I manipulated it using paint and created my own cover myself. And then I also formatted the entire manuscript to be exactly the right margins and size so that it would fit in a 6x9 book. So I learned kind of how to set up a novel as well. And so far the reviews have come in and they're positive, but one of the writers that I reached out to who told me she couldn't give an endorsement due to her publisher kind of owning her words because she's traditionally published, was Tiffany McDaniel. She is the author of Betty. Recently was her newest release, and then also The Summer That Melted Everything. And we have been friends since like around 2016, 2017, and we talk over email. She is a extreme inspiration to me as a writer, and then also she's just an encouraging friend, and you need that. So let me read you her comments. So when she read the collection, I'm just gonna read an excerpt from her what she said because I'm not allowed to like read her whole thing, and I don't want to infringe on anybody's publishing contract or anything like that, or do anything illegal. But she said, I just read this collection this evening, Chelsea, and it is beautiful. I could feel the connective thread throughout, which was great. You sense the hope for love, the loss of it, and the journey back to it. So all the poems felt like a collective whole. I thought the arrangement was on point, and the preface was so touching. To read about the sexual assault you suffered as well as the medical neglect you experienced, I think you could feel that in each of these poems in one way or another. I enjoyed the way you framed this with brief poems that led to the chance to dive deeper into longer ones like Drowning in an Ocean of No Tomorrows. Such a wonderful title. I love the nuances like the line, "Love can be a never-finished tub of Ben & Jerry's." It made each poem so relatable. And she said, I think the poetry is just lovely. She said, the weight of the verse, like, I just want one person to have their life changed by the words I write on this page, was representative of what I think readers will take from this book as a whole. So she basically endorsed it, and that to me was like the biggest cool points I probably could have scored in 2020, but I really have enjoyed putting the book together, putting out the book, and I look forward to seeing how more people resonate with the poetry and the message of it. And it's a book that advocates for mental health awareness, specifically suicide prevention and ideation. It talks about my experience working at a toxic workplace, the love and loss of a guy that I worked alongside there, who I befriended, and he actually saved my life from a episode of suicide ideation. And it also talks about it brings awareness to different sexuality, and I just hope that it helps people heal from whatever they've struggled with in their life. And I believe that I touch on many different things that we as all human beings go through, and I really hope that it resonates with people all over. I've already heard from people in India, Canada, and throughout the United States that have said that the poetry really struck them. They could tell that it was from the heart, and they had said many different things about it, and I won't talk about it because you could go on Goodreads and you can see the reviews yourself, but it has a 4.67 rating right now on Goodreads, and I really worked hard on it. I would never have put it out if I didn't think that it was worthy of being a book and worthy of being something that people purchase and own, and it helps them through whatever they're struggling with, whatever they've struggled with. Like if it was something in your past that you still can't seem to resolve. And then also it talks about that I really felt strongly about was this concept of twin flames, and I'm actually going to talk more about it in a blog, which I will put in the description box. You can check out that link below. But thank you so much for watching, and if you have any other questions about publishing with Barnes & Noble Press, please reach out to me, as I am more than happy to help anyone get involved with them, as well as learning different ways to format and stuff. I could share that in a separate video, but and then also, if you do have a book or music project that you put out, do know that I do book and music publicity specifically, and I would love to help you shine and get the word out about your project, because I believe that no matter what you've written about, it's worthy of people knowing it, reading it, and then experiencing it. And I believe that all people should be able to express themselves however they choose. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, let me start by talking about why I went with Barnes Noble Press. Cooper. Please. Coop. The camera can see you, but it can't see me. You gotta stand out of the angle. You're blocking my angle. You just want to be famous? Oh my god. Please, Coop, please. Cooper.